Tonight, we got special guest, DJ of the Chocolate City Hoops podcast. And tonight, we're going to do some Wizards hot takes for the 2024 to 2025 regular season. Come on, rock with your boys, man. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Brandon Scott again, and I appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com. Tonight, we got a special guest, my guy, DJ of the Chocolate City Hoops podcast. How you doing today, brother?
What's going on, Brandon? How you doing, bro?
Just another day in the life, man. You know how it is, man. So
yes, sir.
Tonight, man, we're gonna get into some hot takes, man, because you know the season's right around the corner. September 30th is media day. Then we have preseason or training camp preseason, and then the regular season at the end of October. So we're gonna get into mine, and then we'll get into yours, and then we're gonna do like we do, man, on here, man. So, all right, my 3 hot takes, man. I got some wild hot takes, man. Number one, this is gonna shock some folk, but number one, right? Jordan Poole will get votes for most improved player. Number 2, Kyle Kuzma will get votes, or not get votes, but he will actually get an all-star nod as a reserve in this year's all-star game. And number 3, and this is really going to shock people, Alex Sarr will get more votes than Bub Carrington as far as rookie of the year, but Bub Carrington will be the better player. So I'm going to go ahead and let you react to all 3 of those, man. What you think?
First one, I can see it happening, right? JP getting ready to. I think he'll take a leap this year, right? I think he's going to do something special. What was that second one again?
Kyle Kuzma gets reserved all-star vote, or gets all-star.
Yeah, I like that one. To me, it depends a little bit, right? We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. If he does get like traded midway, but hey, look, it could definitely happen. And the third one you mentioned.
Oh man, Alex Sarr will get more votes as rookie of the year, but Bub Carrington will have the better rookie season.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I think that's happening. I think you're right on that one. That one, I'll wholeheartedly agree. Yes, sir.
Oh man, it's gonna be a quick one, man. Look at the JP13. The reason I say that is because look, he's gonna come into the season with a chip on his shoulder, man. Mm-hmm. Last year, up and down season, started out rough, reverted to 6 man, did his thing. Tyus went down, became a starter, did his thing. Mentally, he proved that he can deal with the smoke as far as his play on the court. Look, we saw what he can be in the second half of last season. Looking at other stats, team was first in pace. So they moved, man. When they attacked teams in transition, this was a good team. And if you look at the makeup of this roster, man, you have guys who are light on their feet. Even Alex Sarr can get down that court and do some damage, man. So I definitely believe that this team has to be faster and attack teams in transition and really catch defenses off balance. Getting to Kyle Kuzma, man, I mean, right now, depending on the lineup, some people have him at the 3, some people at the 4, depending on what they do with Alex Sarr. Even though I think we both agree that Alex Sarr, second overall, you definitely start that guy, man. So you're looking at Kyle Kuzma being your small forward. Being on the wing, he's about to eat. He's about to average more than that 22 he averaged last year, man. He's about to eat. Now, with him and JP13 was the biggest thing. Efficiency. Efficiency took a hit this last year, man. And for them to get theirs and for them to also help these young guys looking at Bilal and Alex Sarr develop, they've got to change parts of their game, man. So, before we get into Alex Sarr and Bub, man, looking at Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, do you think they'll make the necessary changes to help players like Bilal and Alex kind of progress, or do you think it's going to be something that has to be addressed within the coaching staff?
No, I don't think it needs to be addressed within the coaching staff because I think that's already the culture that's being laid, right? I mean, we're talking about Brian Keefe and that coach, Brian Keefe and his staff, where they're already known, whether it's KD, Westbrook, right? I mean, again, right, those guys probably already have been who they are without him, but it's the fact that they give him kudos to help them get to where they're at. So, I don't think that anything really needs to be set because it's the culture that's already there. And I think Bilal, I got in my hot takes. I think Bilal's going to take a big jump in certain areas. Sarr, he may not look pretty early on, but I definitely think he's going to make a push for that rookie of the year. That's why I said I agree with you, right? I think we're gonna see his evolution throughout the year, right? I think with him, which is kind of ironic. Usually you see the rookie wall get hit like kind of midway through, but it seems like he hit his rookie wall like in summer league, like immediately, right? So, and to me, when you think about it like that, the only way to go is up, right? So look, he can't get any worse than the summer league that we saw. So, and I'm pretty sure he hears and knows that, what the fans are thinking right now. And, I would just only hope he's hungry and got that dog in him to want to go out, his freshman season here and, try to do the best he can. And he's with Brian Keefe and that staff. Hopefully he gets even better by the time at the end of the year. And we talking about him as, possibly rookie of the year.
Oh, absolutely, man. Kind of get back to the necessary adjustments to Jordan Poole and Conklin's game. I think both of them know they have to. They know that in order for them to get theirs and in order for these young guys to develop, which that is priority number one, number two, number three, development of young talent. Eventually, all these vets are going to be moved at some point, whether it's the deadline next year or in year 3. It's going to be a youth movement at one point because, like I said before, the timeline is 3 years. After 3 years, that's when you look to re-sign Bilal, and all this veteran money is going to be off the books, man. So right now, they're looking to flip a lot of these vets and get them off the books. And but who's going to do it in 3 years? You know what I mean? So because if you look at most guys on the roster as far as vets, outside of Malcolm Brogdon, that is, they're all on 3-year contracts. Jordan Poole, 3 years. Jonas Valanciunas, 3 years. Sadiq Bey, 3 years. So the list goes on. So I think, like I said, this was a question that I asked Kyle Kuzma in the exit interviews last year. I said, look, you got a chip with Lakers. You became the voice of a locker room in DC. What do you, what's next for you individually? He said, look, I have to help these guys get better. Bilal, Alex Sarr, Tristan Vucevic, Bub, because Bub is a guy that we don't talk enough about because he's got star potential, man. He's a dog. So that kind of leads into, oh, absolutely. I mean, Bub's the real deal, in my opinion, man. And it kind of goes into my third hot take, which is, the reason I say that Alex Sarr's going to get more votes because he's going to have more of a face. He's going to be a starter, where Bub's going to come off the bench, 6th man, maybe the 7th man, working in tandem with Malcolm Brogdon, we'll see. But Alex Sarr's going to be that guy, especially he's 2nd overall. All eyes going to be more on him as opposed to Bub Carrington being, 14th overall. So he's going to get more votes. But Bub, to me, is going to have the better year because he's more polished, especially on the offensive end. The defensive end, you saw the potential. You saw the dog potential. He's in people's face, man. He's just got that dog factor, which we need more dogs in DC, man.
That's that Baltimore. That's
that B more, man.
That B more. Yes, sir. That's that B more in him for sure.
That B more definitely came out, man. So like I said, I'm a big fan of Bub. I think he's going to be a steal, and I think he's got star potential written all over him. I think the same thing about Bilal and Alex Sarr. Even though, obviously looking at Bilal, looking at Alex Sarr, offensively, they are very raw. Bilal, you definitely want to see that progression in the year 2. But Alex Sarr, if you saw, man, he's, the lack of aggression and his, relying on that jump shot too much. I think a couple things he's got to fix, especially aggression. I think that's why Jonas Valanciunas is going to be a really, really good move for the Wizards because he's a guy who plays with his chip on his shoulder, and he's always a Wizards killer. He kills us every time we play him, man, whether it was in Memphis, whether it was in New Orleans. I mean, the list goes on. So I think he's going to push him in practice. So, like I said, I think the Bub's going to have the better rookie year. But Alex Sarr, I mean, what do you think about Alex Sarr, man? I mean, because we kind of talked about it before, DJ, man. Like, people are ready to call him a bust, but it's 5 summer league games, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it really he can only go up, man. Like it can only get better. Like, and look, I think for all intents and purposes, it's not the worst summer league we've ever seen, right? I think most people can kind of read in between the Taco Bell lines there, but like it's just, I think Sarr, it just seems like basketball IQ sometimes, right? Like he's got the natural like height and talent and gifts, right? I mean, we just saw like a 7-foot guy, like, he was doing Euros and that's kind of his thing, right? Taking 3-point shots, I mean, kind of like your typical big now that's the transition you're seeing. So, it's all there. I just think the IQ's there, right? Maybe it was a little bit of nerves during summer league as well. But I mean, I got high hopes for Sarr. I really do. I mean, before, I think even you said it, right? We didn't think he was going to be there at 2. Yeah. That wasn't even the thought process. Like, I didn't think so. We're thinking like everybody else because he's supposed to be there at number 1. So to get him at number 2 because he was in that conversation for number 1. Look, man, he'll do something. Yeah, right? I have faith that he'll go out there and produce and give us something. We're gonna have a couple highlights that we're gonna be talking about on Wiz Twitter. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's gonna be all right, man. I think that. You look at the draft picks, all 5 of them, we talk about it all the time. They're all under 21, man. They're young, they're raw. But that's the thing. The Brian Keefe, I'm a big catalyst, Brian Keefe. I'm a big fan of him. Even in the press conference, I said, look, and I asked him this question. I said, look, there's some people in the building, including myself, that believe that the search for head coach ends with you. And he kind of took the political answer. It was the last game of the year. He was going to Boston. He said, look, we're gonna tap the Boston. But he knew, like, come on now, because the resume speaks for itself. Look at the talent that he's developed, man. And this is not just guys who are becoming all-stars or starters. You look at Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. These guys are Hall of Famers. I mean, Brandon Ingram, he's a guy who they call him KD like for a reason. He's a scorer in this league, man. I mean, KP finally found his own in Boston. I mean, he's hurt right now. I mean, I think we all knew this is a question of when with him, but when he's healthy, he's productive, and he's productive at a high level, man. So, going back to Alex real quick, man, the lack of aggression, the French players, like, depending on where in the world, the one thing I like about basketball, especially in the NBA, man, is that the diversity. Players come from all over, man. Africa, Asia, Europe. I mean, it's the diversity of the game. I think it's the one league or one sport that really challenges soccer because of the global reach, man. But different countries, they develop different type of skills, right? These guys from France are scorers. Going back to Fournier. I mean, Tony Parker, he's definitely with the vision as a point guard, but a lot of these guys are finesse. The aggression's not always there, even though with Bilal, you see a little bit of the dog in him. So I think you definitely have to get that dog into Alex Hart, man. I don't know. And look, I'm thinking we might have to like send him down here to Berry Farms, let him play out there for a couple of days, to have him work with him a little bit. But I think that once he work with him, man, he'll be all right. So what do you think, man?
No, you're right. Look, like I said earlier, the IQ, because some of the plays that he was making, it just seemed a little boneheaded, at times, right? Just lack of the IQ, but then also like when you wanted him to be aggressive, it looked like the game before got up here. And then before you know it, he's not, doing what he needs to do. It's like, point is, I think the coaching staff is gonna you're gonna have to work with him over time, right? Yeah. The first things first, actually scrap all that other stuff. I can't believe I forgot this. Hey, get in the weight room immediately. That part, right? Get into the weight room immediately. Like whatever Jonas is eating, whatever that man is lifting, like you need to be matching that. Whatever, I don't know if Giannis, because like, and I don't know who I talked with about this on the show, but like whatever Giannis did, because remember when Giannis came in the league, man was wiry, lanky, like and when you talk to Sar, you hear what Sar says, like he wants to model his game after who? Like he looks at Giannis. So it's like whatever he did, he need to get on that same nutrition program, weightlifting program, whatever it is, and get on that same thing. Get into the weight room immediately.
Yeah, man, hit the weight room, take him up there to Ben's Chili Bowl, do what you got to do to add some weight, man.
Anything.
So, all right, man, we're going to get into some hot takes from my man DJ real quick. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now, look, you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we have something a little different for you guys. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV-based plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel at any time. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen of the day. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On NBA podcast. There is no offseason in the NBA, let me tell y'all. And Locked On NBA provides daily basketball analysis from national and local experts in 30 minutes or less. It's that easy. No one keeps you as informed and entertained as Locked On NBA. Available on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. All right, let's slide back into this, man. So, hey, man, you got the mic.
Hey, look, it's about to get crazy, all right? First things first. So you said Kyle Kuzma's going to flirt with it, but I got JP flirting with the All-Star nod.
Okay.
Let me tell you, because like JP coming in, right, when they were thinking about the trade, right, Chris Paul came in and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. I remember putting on Twitter, right, I was like, yo, have JP come in and JP running his own squad is going to be like when James Harden left OKC. And I get it. The year that happened last year, that's last year. Right, it was crazy, but you saw towards the end of the year, you started seeing more glimpses of what he could be. And I'm just a huge believer in JP. I like his game. Defense could be better, but offensively, I mean, he's got the potential to just go off for 25 And then you saw even towards the end of the year, right, his assist game, something that I don't think we got to see a lot of, right? So I definitely think that, right, he could be flirting with like let's say 20-7, 20 and maybe 20-6. Either way, I think if he starts putting on the show, because look, man, All-Star nods, you don't necessarily need. It helps if you're on a winning team. If you're on a bad team, though, it's a popularity thing. That's what All-Star is, right? So let's just say the man's got my vote because I believe that he's gonna do it this year. You got any takes on that? You want me to just go through the rest of it?
You already know. Like, I'm with you, man. I agree 100%, bro. Like, I've been big on JP13 since he came over. I was excited when he came over from Golden State because you saw at Golden State, man, what he can do. Now, the biggest thing with his struggles is that he had to acclimate where he was at, man. You go from a team like Golden State where you're pretty much protected by three guys, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry, where he can make those mistakes, man. A lot of that was hid, other than him getting punched out of practice. I mean, they kind of brought things into light, man. But, if you look at the high marks that Klay Thompson gave and Steph Curry, he works. He's one of the first guys in the gym. He works his tail off. So, yeah, he's young, man. So he had to acclimate going from that environment to DC, where when him and Kyle Kuzma is number one and number two options, a lot was put on him early on. And I'll say that. He had to be at the face of a young franchise, man. New general manager, new direction, so a lot was put on him. And his mistakes were on Shaq and the Fool. I mean, I say it all the time, man. He got criticized by every major sports network, if not only in America, man, overseas. He got criticized, calling him a bust, saying he's going to be the worst contract, this and this. And what did he do? Kept working. And like I said, I talked to him twice last year, man, going into games, covering the team, man. And first time, I know he watched the show because he caught a lot of smoke on his platform, but and rightfully so. He did struggle. He had his moments. But I always said this. He's got way too much talent, Phil. I mean, he's got way too much talent, man. He's not even close to his prime. And he's showing he can score on a high level and he can be that guy. And what impressed me the most about JP13 was the mental side of things, man. Young players, they make or break off of confidence. We saw with Denny Avia, and he was notoriously known as a player where when his confidence was high, he was very highly productive player. When his confidence was low, he was lost at times. So young guys strive off of that. If you look at, he's the best example, but Ben Simmons, right? Young player, he was this close. He was rising to stardom, and he caught criticism, and he just couldn't take it. And all they really asked him to do was develop a jump shot. And then it's crazy because every year he has this workout video where he's hitting threes, and then it disappears when game one comes around. But he took the smoke. And he kept working, man, and you reverted to sixth man. He did his thing. Tyus went down. He did his thing. His vision was on display. His leadership. So I think that he's one of these guys that I challenge him to be a leader this year. Kyle Kuzma, what's up?
That part, right? I want to touch on that real quick.
Got you.
Not too many people, right? It takes a real leader and you to have that mental fortitude, right? To go ahead and say like, hey, I'm supposed to be a leader on this team, but you know what? Right now, where the team needs me to be is just come off the bench. But trust and believe when it's my time to come back, I'm gonna come back. And when no one wants to see anybody get hurt, is that's what I'm saying. But when Tyus did get hurt and his opportunity came back, what'd he do? He started shining a little bit more. Now, did he have some mistakes still? Yeah, but man, the good outweighed the bad. Let's just put it that way, in my mind. And then you also see too the look at the leadership right now that's happening over the summer, right?
Exactly.
He's in the building with Sarr. Same way year one. Like even forget everything he didn't do right in the first half of the season. He took Bilal under his wing the entire year. Yeah. To me, on a rebuilding team, that means a heck of a lot more than just the first half of the season and maybe some other tidbits where he wasn't doing so well, right? Bilal, and that's what's really most important as far as like leadership in that locker room. Bilal has respect for him. He's in the gym with Sarr. Sarr ain't even had his first NBA game yet. And he already doing summer workouts with Sarr. So with JP. So no, I think it's gonna be a good thing to see this year. I'm really excited for JP.
Yeah, but think about it. What does that tell you though about the direction? The fact that he's working with those two guys tells you something because the current core right now, the building on is Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly. And so obviously you throw Bub Carrington in there, but the front office said, look, they're going to invest heavily in the backcourt of Jordan Poole and Bub Carrington because Bub Carrington proved that he could play off ball. He's that sniper. He's that guy who can score. So, to me, he's a player who you have to keep him around. because he's not even close to his prime yet. He's got a couple years till he's his prime, and he's proven he can play at a high level. Once you fine tune these certain parts of his game and you acclimate him to being a point guard as opposed to being a scoring-minded combo guard, he's going to be all right because the vision's there. The scoring's there. He just has to find a way to get other people involved. And I think that with his ability to attack the basket and collapse defenses, he's going to set people up. Either set shooters up like Corey Kispert, Kyle Kuzma, or, here's the thing about development. How do you get better? Having the ball in your hands. He's going to get those. He's going to get in the ball in the hands of Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly. So I agree 100%, man. So what you got next, man?
Man, look, rolling off of that, I got Bilal shooting 40% from three this year. At 40%, 40%. Look, hot takes. I told you I was coming with him, gun blazing, right? So, no, I think for all the reasons we said, right? I think the chemistry, Bilal coming in and coming in and putting in that work over the summer, being a part of that USA team, or no, not USA team, the Olympic team, right? Bilal coming into the Olympic team. I think JP finds him. And think about it too, right? And I don't want anybody taking this the wrong way, but think about Steph and Klay, right? Think about, right, Steph kind of being the dynamic shooter he is. Klay also being, really a good spot up shooter, right? But what else about Klay? His defense, right? So now you think about, okay, you got JP, who was in the building with Steph and was watching Steph's workouts and really copying his, that workout. And now you got another kid really who shot way better from the three. None of us thought Bilal was going to come in. I think he shot like 35% almost.
Yeah. Now he was about 34.6. So yeah, he's right there.
Yeah. Right. Round it up. That's 35%, right? None of us thought that. Right, because the scouting report didn't say he could shoot. He was just super wiry and athletic, right? He was just more so like a slasher, like cut to the basket. But then what does he do? He comes in and kind of has that, that typical rookie role for the Wizards, the 3-and-D role, right? Comes in, starts shooting. It's like, he's shooting from a pretty decent clip, because, for some of these other people, you kind of praying for it to go in the basket. So, it's high. It's a high take for sure. But I think he flirts with that 40%.
I'm with you, man. I think he will be slightly less. I look at around 38, but 40 to me is not unreasonable because, like you said, if you look at the statistics, man, he's right there. But the biggest thing was just having a fast release and confidence. Put him in the best position to give him that confidence for him to take that next step. Because, again, we're kind of in a pickle, right? Because you have all these vets where, they're here to mentorship and they're here to flip. But to a certain degree, you have to showcase these young guys and give them a lot more minutes and put them in positions where you steadily hand the torch over time. I mean, right now it's Kyle Kuzma and JP13, but eventually you have to bring Bilal in and give him more responsibility because you have to give him the confidence. When he has that confidence, he's going to start getting the ball off faster. And like I said, I always refer back to Denny because Denny reminds me a lot about Bilal. He came in very raw, man. If you look at Denny coming out of Israel, the defense was there, just like Bilal. Mm-hmm. The offense was the part where he had to work on it. He finally broke out. And what was the one part of the game that really you saw break out the earliest? The three-point shot. It was crispier. It was faster. He had more confidence, man. And then the rest of his game came along. He still, he could already drive to the basket, but he started driving and finishing through traffic, finishing through contact. And Bilal, man, look, oh man, that left hand, man. But Bilal, man, he's already rookie year putting people on posters, man. So I mean, what was it? Mike Scott from the 76ers. I mean, posterize. I mean, he's already got the dog factor, that it factor, man. Like he's gonna attack basket. So I'm telling you, when that shot becomes a fast release, man, he's gonna be, I'm telling you, cooking with oil, man. So so what you got for me, man?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I said flirting with 40. It just, man, I believe that at least for the first half of the season, he's not going to take as many shots because it's going to be JP and Kuz in the beginning, right? So that's why I say, because I think even Denny was at 40, and then his volume kind of went up, I believe, right? So then you started to see kind of like it was more so like 39, 38, and he just had more volume that year. So we'll see. I mean, again, big believer in Bilal. You're right. He got that dog in him, and we'll see what happens this year. Now for my next one, it's the biggest hot take.
Uh-oh.
I got Johnny Davis having a breakout year. I'm using that in quotations. Here's what I say about Johnny, right? Same thing as everybody else. One thing is he leaned heavy on his defense. Now, I don't know what's going on with the shot, But the reason why I say he has a breakout year, and I say I'm using that lightly in quotations, because right, we didn't expect Denny to have that year. Now I'm not saying he'll have a year like Denny, but here's what I'm saying: he will come out and be serviceable. Right, he'll come out and maybe get you 6, 7, 8 points a game. Right, when Bilal is, out of the game, he's coming in and guarding, your hardest assignment, right? He's going in and snatching boards, right? He's shooting a better clip from the three, right? And the key factor to this is Brian Keefe.
Yeah.
Right. It's a draft pick. Now I'm not saying he's safe, but I'm just saying he'll be serviceable. That's his breakout year. I'll say it right here, loud and clear. JD, Johnny Davis will have a breakout year.
Whoa, man. Okay, you ain't playing tonight, man. You are not playing tonight. I mean, I'll say this. Johnny Davis you could tell, man, confidence is shattered. You could tell, man. I mean, talk to him in the press conference. I mean, he pretty much gave me a 3-word answer. I mean, his confidence is shot, man. I mean, he struggled. And, when you get to the point where other teams are laughing on the bench when you're shooting, it's like his confidence is down, man. But he's a hard worker. That's the one thing. That's the first thing that people tell you about Johnny Davis is his work ethic. He works his tail off, man. He keeps working. So, I mean, I'm with you to a certain degree. He's definitely on the fence right now. I mean, if you look at one of the first people that might be on the chopping block, is probably going to be Johnny Davis. But, he's got, training camp, definitely want to see him go out there and show what he can do. Preseason, we'll see, and then we'll go off of that because I think we're +1 right now. So we need to get rid of one player. So, it's looking like it might be JD. But, here's my thing, man. Humble young man, hard worker. Definitely want to see him succeed. If not in DC, somewhere else. Definitely want to see his basketball career continue to prosper, man. It's just he's run out of chances. But I'm with you, man. Like I said, it's just who do you blame? It's like we've asked this question the last 2 years. Who do you blame? When they, to me, year one, when it was still Wes Unseld Jr., when it was still Tommy Shepard, when they decided to try to make him a point guard and make him a 3-point shooter. Let's be real. He shot, I believe, 1.5 3-pointers at Wisconsin. He's not 3-point shooter. Now, he could hit that shot in college, but he's not a 3-point shooter. He's a mid-range shooter, and he's a guy who, again, he's not going to blow past anybody. He uses footwork and finesse to get himself in the best position to score. He doesn't have the speed. And then defense is the name of his game, man. Defensively, he's a really good defender. And in my opinion, he's definitely an above-average defender. So you got to really lean into that strength, man. Utilize his defense. They don't do that enough. They're looking at him as a polished scorer, and he's just not a polished scorer. He's a guy that has to be developed, and he wasn't developed the right way. Tommy Shepard was bad for that, man. Like I said, I mean, look at it. Denny. They had him in the corner shooting, being a 3-and-D, and he didn't even have the 3. He just had the D. I mean, they didn't utilize. They didn't utilize these guys the best way they should have been utilized. I mean, and it's just, and now with Brian Keefe, I think we're heading in the right direction. I think they will sit down and say, look, how can we get this guy right? What is the best parts of his game? And it's definitely his defense. He can score. He definitely has a scorer's mind, man. It's just put him in the best position to succeed. And I think that with his new regime in DC, look, Michael Winger, Will Dawkins, Travis Schlenk, they're going to get this team where we need it to be. Brian Keefe, man, I'll tell you, his resume speaks for itself. This guy, he believes in what they're trying to do. He is a believer in what they're trying to do in DC. And, I get it. A lot of people right now are already like, oh, man, how many years we got left of this? But here's the thing. It's going to take a while, man. We still got about 2-3 more years till we start to see any kind of fruition with these young guys, man. But here's the thing. The lack of patience shows we've never been through a rebuild in DC. Ernie Grunfeld gave away first rounders for talent that he didn't even re-sign, or he gave money to players that weren't worth the money in Otto Porter. And and then he drafted guys who just won it. Jan Vesely, Chris Singleton, the list goes on. Tommy Shepard, while his draft game, I think, is a little underrated. I know that's a hot take in itself. The reason I say that is because the guys he drafted weren't bad draft picks. They had to be developed. He needed to draft guys. He needed to come in and contribute right away. Because at the time, we had Bradley Beal, we had Kyle Kuzma, we had KP. We needed guys who could have been role players right out the gate. And, Denny had to be developed. Rui had to be developed. Johnny's still developing. I mean, Corey Kispert had to develop. So, getting to Will Dawkins, I mean, his draft game's on point. I mean, his trade game has been on point. I think the only blemish is Tyus Jones. And I think, to me, that's not even a blemish because I think we all knew that the possibility that he was going to walk for free. KP was going to walk for free. So just the fact that they got Tyus from KP was a blessing. So I knew that, now they should have took those 3 first second rounders at the deadline and called it a day. But you know, I mean, you can say the same thing about Kyle Kuzma, man. I mean, you know, he probably would have been a Dallas Maverick, but it is what it is at this point, man. Because you know, again, it is what it is. So, you got any more hot takes for me, man?
No, not really. You know what? Actually, I'm thinking of one on the spot here.
Okay.
I don't know if this is really a hot take, but we talked about it earlier about, you know, Bub kind of being able to play a little bit more off ball than JP was last year. I think we're definitely going to see a lineup of JP and Bub in the backcourt a little bit more. And then, you know, maybe, you know, move Bilal down to the 3, Kuz and Sarve. I just think you're going to see that backcourt a little bit more often than we think we're maybe towards the end of the year if like Brogdon gets traded or something like that. But I think we're going to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I definitely agree. And right now, we don't have a clear vision what the roster or even the starting 5 is going to be. You know, I think that head coach Brian Keefe is going to try different lineups, different combinations. You know, Malcolm Brogdon might start here, Jordan, but I think the best case scenario is Jordan Poole starting point guard. He can push the pace. We are used to fast point guards here in DC. John Wall made money off of transitional game, man. This dude
made other people money.
Oh man, look, Otto Porter should send him a Christmas gift every year, man. I'm trying to tell you because Otto Porter does not get paid without John Wall. Bradley Beal does not get paid without John Wall. Marcel Webster probably don't get paid without John Wall. I'm just saying, like, he set so many people up, and we're used to that play style. Even Russ, that first year or the only year that Russ was here, that was the career high for Bradley Beal as far as points. I believe he averaged 31 that year. Mm-hmm. So,
sure did.
I mean, we are used to that fast play style. That is DC basketball. You know, hitting teams in transition. You know, catching defense is all balanced, man. So I think we need to get back to that. You know, I mean, I think the JP13 is the recipe to that, man. I mean, I think that in the Bub Carrington, let him be that scorer. You know, he doesn't have to be that point guard. Let him be that scorer. He showed in Summer League he can be that scorer, man. He's a sniper, man. I'm trying to tell you. So I agree with that, man. So we're going to go ahead and call it a night, man. But like I said before we roll, man, you got anything you want to plug real quick, bro?
Yeah, look, like and subscribe to Chocolate City Hoops podcast. Right now, we got a ticket giveaway coming up. If you like and subscribe to the channel, you got an opportunity to get 2 free tickets to the Wizards home opener against Boston. Look, I'm tired of going to these home openers, B. Scott, man, and seeing nothing but a sea of green or a sea of the other team, right? It's like I don't want that no more. So, yeah, look, like and subscribe. We're gonna do a drawing on the next pod, and you gotta be a subscriber to win.
Absolutely. And let me say, man, Ed was on the show. Your boy was on the show. Matt Moderna was on the show. We got Damo coming up. State of Wizards coming on, man. Good content. If you don't already subscribe to the Chocolate City Hoops podcast, man, look, you need to get behind the ball, man, because I'm telling you, it's must see and must listen TV, man. So definitely rock with my guy, DJ, man. Now, look, he's an Eagles fan, so don't hold it against him, man. But let me ask you real quick, Monday Night Football, who you got?
My Eagles.
Oh, come on.
That's gonna be my Eagles. Who else? It can't be nobody else. Look, that was a hot take. You asking me that question because who else was I gonna pick? Against them Falcons too? Oh yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, man. As much as it pains me to say that, I think that the Falcons. I don't know, man. Kirk Cousins has to get something out of his offense. I mean, Kyle Pitts, London, come on, man. But Bijan Robinson, they should be a high-flying offense. I don't get it, man. So before we roll, man, I know that how much you follow as far as local football in Baltimore, the Ravens, man. I was at the Raiders-Ravens game, man, and Devontae Adams, Lord have mercy. I mean, he is unreal wide receiver, man. But, I mean, the Ravens 0-2, man. I mean, do you think that – I know this is a Wizards podcast, man, but I got to holler at you real quick. Do you think that Derrick Henry and Lamar can coexist?
Man, like when they made that move, it was a little head-scratching, to be honest, because I thought that the best thing about Lamar is his run game. So it kind of – if you're running more with Henry, does that take away from kind of like Lamar's like run play ability, right? In other words, like how many plays are going to be called, specifically for Lamar to take off versus, Henry to make the run. I mean, I get why Henry wanted to sign there, and I get the allure, but I don't know. I think they'll figure it out. I'm still a fan. Even though I'm an Eagles fan, I'm a fan of Lamar, and I'm actually a fan of King Henry too, but we'll see if it works out. I mean, right now it's not looking pretty, but I'll tell you right now, I didn't have them losing to Las. I almost said Oakland. I didn't have them losing to Las Vegas. Say that.
Look, man, that's how you tell the people old heads, man. I still call the Chargers the San Diego Chargers. It takes time, man. It takes time. But hey, man, appreciate you coming on the show, man. Like I said, I enjoyed myself and yours, man. It's just a matter of time. So I brought you on and locked on, man. So like I said, definitely appreciate you coming on here, man. Rocking with me, man. So we're gonna go ahead and call it a night, everybody. I will see everybody tomorrow night. We're gonna do over and unders for the team overall. So definitely tune in tomorrow night. Hail to the Wizards and peace. See everybody next time.